So I was a little surprised this week to see Lisa Vanderpump's stance on minimum wage. I did want to bring it up because it is an important topic. It's being discussed in West Hollywood in regards to, restaurant employees, but general people also in West Hollywood. You might recall that Lisa Vanderpump at one point in time had the key of the city in Beverly Hills. So I wonder if she's getting active in her local politics where her restaurants are. Anyway, I want to take you through what happened with this. I'd love to hear your comments below about this topic. I'm also going to talk a little bit about Vanderpump Rules and what came out about Brock Davies this week, which was a little strange to me. And that's it. It's just a little bit of a hodgepodge, this video, but I hope you enjoy it. If you do, like it, and please subscribe. So before all this, this raising of the minimum wage, the California minimum wage was $13 per hour for businesses with fewer than 26 employees, $14 per hour for businesses with more than 24 employees, and so I'm going to be dramatic to put this in perspective, but like a mom working in West Hollywood that was making minimum wage would have to work 1 hour to be able to buy 2 Happy Meals for her child, or children rather, at McDonald's. An hour, okay? She would have to work over an hour, and I think an hour and a half actually, to take her one child to the movies. Okay, just raise the minimum wage. Let me just keep going though. I'm going to get into this. Sorry, I'm a little emotional about this topic. So West Hollywood did vote, even though Lisa Vanderpump didn't want it, to raise the minimum wage in West Hollywood. I'm sure she's like the queen of West Hollywood now. Anyway, now it will be $17.64, and it has to be raised to that level by summer of 2022. Thank goodness. I have some passionate feelings about this topic. Ooh, I know. I'm going to share them really quick. I hope you guys don't. I hope California joins. By the way, the rest of California didn't raise it. So Lisa Vanderpump's position was that they shouldn't raise it. They shouldn't raise it right now. That because of COVID, the restaurants are so overburdened that they can't possibly handle raising the minimum wage for their employees coming back from COVID, and that they should have time to be able to make money and not have this burden on them. But to me, that seemed a little insensitive, because the reality is that most of the restaurants were given grants and PPP loans that they never have to pay back based on keeping people employed and based on staff, period. Like, that's how you got money actually in COVID. So to now say, well, I don't want to pass any of that money on, like, you know what I'm saying, or take a little hit on that side of the business, is to me really insensitive. Now, she also said that, the city is not taking in consideration that most of the minimum wage people in West Hollywood are making really high amounts of tips. And so she felt that putting that burden on the restaurants of paying this higher minimum wage was unfair, given that that they make so much money on tips in the restaurants. But I'd say that's kind of, we're not just talking about waiters, right? We're talking about lots of different occupations that make minimum wage in West Hollywood. So anyway, I did retweet her tweet because she did say her position. I thought it was fair to repost it. I'm going to play for you what she said on the news in case you missed it.
Angeles, the living wage is $19.35 an hour.
I have some friends that work 17-an-hour jobs in some other places, and they're still struggling. So, I guess it's a good start, but I think we can do a little better.
But local business owners, some of whom say they're still making up on back rent from the pandemic, urge the council to give it some time.
I just implore you to really give this a lot of thought, because I do believe if we raise the minimum wage now, it's going to be counterproductive.
Tonight, West Hollywood stands poised to have the highest minimum wage in the nation. The WeHo City Council has proposed a $17.64 an hour wage that would take effect January 1st for hotel workers and July 1st for everybody else.
I'm very much in favor of raising the minimum wage. I've had parents who work low-income jobs, so I understand that kind of struggle. I just think everyone deserves to be able to live a normal lifestyle here.
According to Emily,
Like, you can't live in LA making even like at $19 an hour. So it's like ridiculous to be like, you know, people are commuting 40 minutes to go work their waiter job or, you know, their bar back job position in West Hollywood because they can't live close by because it's so expensive. You couldn't possibly live on minimum wage and go there and live there. So it's just, I don't know, it's a little bit disconnected for the restaurant owners to be saying that they don't want to see the minimum wage raised. By the way, you guys, does anyone know what happened with that lawsuit that Lisa Vanderpump's charity got smacked with, where the woman said she adopted a dog from Vanderpump Dogs and then the dog got had worms when she adopted it, and then she caught the worms and she had worms coming out of all of her orifices or whatever, and she sued Vanderpump Rules, and Lisa, of course, said, no, of course, that's not true. It's made up. It didn't happen. But I was wondering, does anyone know what happened at the end of that? Because I would really love to know, and I couldn't find anything on it. Did they settle it or what? Anyway, if you know, please comment below. Okay, on a different note, did anyone find it so weird that, I mean, it's related to Lisa Vanderpump, otherwise I wouldn't bring it up in this video, but does anyone else think it's weird that Brock Davies hit his wife, but hitting his wife did not have to do with the restraining order? Because he hit her when she was 19. I guess the restraining order happened later. But needless to say, I posted a picture of his family seeing him in the US that was public in 2015 on the Patreon. So as I see it, he definitely saw them in 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's 6 years ago. So could he maybe be longer than 4 years and he hasn't seen them in 6 years? I don't know. Something sketchy about these stories. The story keeps changing and moving. We know somebody else like that, Erica Jane. Not to mention that it came to light on Watch What Happens Live that he hasn't paid his child support to date. Well, you know how I feel about that, right? I don't appreciate a deadbeat dad in any way, shape, or form, because the truth of the matter is the mother doesn't have the ability to say, I'm sorry, I can't afford to pay for your food today, or send you to school, or buy your school supplies or clothes, having a bad week, or have to prioritize other things. The mom just has to find the goddamn money and pay it. So Brock, I'm not buying it, pal. Pay your freaking child support, buddy. Pay it. Get it up to date. And I don't blame your wife for saying what she said, which is get your child support payments addressed and then we'll talk about visitation, especially after you hit her. Give me a break. All right, this guy's already on my shit list.